Go ahead, take us in, Grant.
I not recorded that.
We are.
Yeah.
Are we?
Is my right. Welcome to Twigs and Wigs.
Damn, baby.
The podcast about music.
Sometimes.
So look, I have a question, man. Now, you were in one of my at least top 50 greatest films, like one of my personal favorites, and that was Queen of the Damned.
Oh man,
yeah,
never heard
man.
anyone say that was one of their favorites ever.
Oh man, I love that. I really just like Aaliyah in there. Like she, and honestly, I feel like she didn't have enough lines, but Jesus Christ, was she beautiful?
She's incredible talent, and she's so beautiful and so nice.
Is she? Yeah. Or
so
was
nice.
she? Yeah.
We were these vampire assassins, and we had to actually. We were supposed to be in Times Square.
Right.
And plotting to kill Lestat in this
Right.
sort of execution style. And so we had all this scene where we're talking about how we're going to do it, where we're going to meet him. We had 3 weeks of Meisner method. You know, where do you find your animal? I found it in my mouth. Oh, lead with your mouth. Where do you find it? I found my groin. Lead with your groin. Where's dialect? I was supposed to be this vampire from Brooklyn, so I had to talk like that. You know, and so they had all these things where we had to prepare for this huge scene, which actually we filmed in Melbourne to make it, and they used CGI and well to make it look like Times Square and everything. And then we're at the premiere. We're in Sydney watching the premiere, and there's me and my new wife, and there was there are other assassin vampires with their spouses, and we're watching the scene. It's coming up. Cut. Nothing. Nada. We didn't even make it. All our lines were cut. The scene was cut. We ended up just being like featured like extras. They had shots, the Death Valley concert at the end. You see me there, and I explode or something, and but it was fun.
That was you.
One of those. I was one of the vampires that goes poof.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite scenes too, man.
But I digress because I wanted to talk about the film, but I want to tell you about Aaliyah as well. That every time that we turned up the set, I remember she was always on the phone, always talking to someone. But she would always, whenever I'd walk past her, she'd always stop what she was saying, and she'd say, "Hello, Miguel. Good morning."
Wow, like she knew your name and everything.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man.
She
That's
knew
very professional.
She knew
Steve.
everybody's name. She
very
gave
professional.
everybody the time of day, and she was so involved in the whole thing. And while we were having these Meisner coaching, like where do you find your inner animal, she would actually come to our workshops and wanted to do it with us. She didn't have to. She didn't need. She wasn't called to do it. It wasn't even. She just had time off. She says, "I want to do this." So she'd come in and do this stuff with us. So she'd be, rolling around the floor and laughing and whatever. She was just so playful, so beautiful. And you'd see her, no makeup, just fresh as a daisy, and stunning. What a sweet, beautiful human being.
Man, rest in peace to Aaliyah, man.
I saw her, and then 4 weeks later, after I said goodbye, it's when it happened. So
yeah, dang.
What year was that?
Was it 2000, 2001 or something like that? I know it was in August. Definitely. It was like around my birthday.
I was going to say, how old were you then, Johnny?
I was like 42.
Black don't cry.
It doesn't, baby. It doesn't.
Like the moment of silence.
Right. It was a long pause right there. Like, are you serious right now?
yeah, well, she was. Yeah. Anyway,
I can only imagine, man. Yeah, like she sounds like a beautiful person, and like just hearing that from you, because like I've heard so many famous people talk about how beautiful she was, not only like on the outside but on the inside as well. So like to hear that from you, that kind of like sets it in stone. Like wow, okay, so they're not just saying it for the cameras. You know what I'm saying?
There is. She's flawless.
One more thing too. So you perform for Queen Elizabeth II.
Queen
Tell me about that, brother.
Queen Betty. Well, this is for. Stephen doesn't want to hear this. It's okay. He has a phobia of queens.
He doesn't like the band, Freddie Mercury. He doesn't like
He stays away from Old Compton Street like the plague. Well, I was actually part of the Royal Variety Performance way back in, get this, 1991. 1991, the Royal Variety Performance. I was doing Buddy, playing the Richie Valens.
Was that your first like theater production?
Yeah,
that you were in?
playing
Yeah.
the Buddy Holly story. I was playing Richie Valens in that. 'Cause,
Snap.
Richie Valens
That's
died
solid.
with Buddy Holly and the Big
Right.
Bopper in the same plane crash.
Right.
So we'll do that again. Stop moving the camera. Which was my first stage show, but they flew me over to London to join the London cast. And as I got there, found out that the Royal Variety was going to be at the Victoria Palace Theatre, where Buddy was playing at the time. So we had a week off, but also because of the week off, they also made us the front act for the Royal Variety. So I got a chance to do that. And the whole thing of like my biggest thrill was at the end where you do the lineup, all the artists and doing the lineup and the producers and then waiting for the Queen to come backstage and meet us all, Queen and Prince Philip. And he sort of just like walked past all the producers and suits. Hi. And then she came to me, and I was the first of the performers because we were the first act. And Diana Ross was the last performer. She was at the end of the line, but I was in the first line.
Jesus Christ.
God.
And I was there and she comes up to me and she says to me, "Oh, so this is your theatre, is it?" And I said, "Well, I suppose you could say that, Mom." And then she says, "So what do you do when the Variety is on? Do you do the show somewhere else or do you take time off?" I says, "Well, basically we take just the time off." So she said, "I see." I said, "So thank you for the royal vacation, Mom." And she went, and slapped me.
She slapped like this. What? She slapped you in your face.
No, she just sort of went on my chest, like, "Oh, you're so funny.
Okay.
Oh, you're so funny.
Okay.
You're so funny." And I was like,
Queen.
and everybody was like, "Oh!" And so at the end, everyone came rushing to me and said, "What did you say to the Queen?" I said,
Off with his
What did you say to the Queen?
"It's Betty and I. We have this thing."
I'm going to say you're close, man. You're close.
I mean, you're the only person I've heard that calls her Betty.
Betty. Yeah, well,
We call
have
her
Betty.
Queen Lizzie.
Yeah, Betty.
Queen Betty.
Man,
Yeah,
I
she
know
prefers
You
me.
must
Betty.
know her.
I know me. I would have said, "Oh, girl, Lizzie, you better watch out now. Don't be touching my chest, girl."
You're going to set me off.
I'm from DC, baby. That's flirting where I'm from. You know, it's like,
So Mig has flirted with the Queen.
the Queen flirted with him. That's
The
Yeah,
Queen flirted with me.
well, it's a bit of it goes both ways. And that's actually the day that I met the Queen was the day the lead singer of Queen passed away.
Wow. That's the day Freddie won.
The day Freddie died, yeah.
bro. That's crazy, man.
But it's also a great segue to We Will Rock You. Speaking of Queen,
There's a lot of queens in this, by the way. Did you meet Bryan before you did that, or did you meet Bryan through We Will Rock You, or did you meet him before that? Or?
I met Bryan through We Will Rock You, yeah. Actually, funny enough, I was doing Rent in London, and he came to see a show, and it was about 2 weeks before, or the week before, actually. They're holding auditions for the cast changeover. This was way back in 2002? End of 2002. Or at the beginning of 2003. And at that stage, I wasn't sure whether I was going to audition because I heard that the guy playing the lead, Galileo, wasn't leaving. And I was kind of like, I've been through these understudy situations before, and it was kind of a little bit of a disheartening experience for me. So I was umming and ahhing about auditioning in the first place. But for some reason, Bryan May and the musical supervisor of We Will Rock You came to see Rent. And I was like, wow, why is Queen coming to? Why are they coming to see the show? I met them afterwards at the cast were all introduced to Bryan and Mike Dixon, and I spoke to Bryan then, which was actually before. And he said, "You are auditioning for We Will Rock You," and I said, "Well, I was thinking about it, but I heard that Tony Vincent isn't leaving." And he says, "Oh, well, you never know, and we'd like to have people on file." And so I auditioned, and I decided to go for the audition. And I remember it was 10 o'clock in the morning. I was living in Plumstead at the time. I don't know if you know Plumstead. It's in southeast London.
Yeah.
Talking about a place that needs gentrification. This place, it needs gentrification.
Oh man.
It's a weird energy around Plumstead. I don't know if you know Plumstead. I lived in the street where it was the site of the last child hanging allowed in London.
What in the world?
Yeah, they hung an
terrible.
11-year-old boy for stealing plums from the orchard. I mean, this is talking about way before the Industrial Revolution, but that's the energy of Plumstead. Okay, so it's like it's sinister. So anyway,
Yeah.
it was weird. So yeah. Anyway, so where I was living, the audition was 10 o'clock in the morning. I was living with other people who were asleep when I left because I had to leave 2 hours before the audition. I had no place to vocally warm up. The first time I had to sing anything was I walked onto the stage of the Dominion Theatre and had to sing We Are the Champions in front of the assistant musical director and the assistant director. That's all who were in the room. And I sounded like a cat being strangled. So I was like, we are the champions. Like, okay, thank you, bye. Done. I'm like, wait, no, you can't do this to me. No, wait. I know I'm supposed to be doing this show. So, so I immediately when I spoke to my agent straight after the audition, I said, I need to be seen again. I'm sorry. I really need to give it another go. I wasn't warmed up. I had no place to warm up. It was really early. I did Rent the night before. I was, vocally scratched. He said, I'll see what we can do. The assistant director said, no, sorry, we've moved on. Thank you very much, but we'll pass.
Wow.
But then I didn't give up because I said, oh, come on, we got to be in touch. I was able to get in touch with the music supervisor who then got in touch with Bryan May. And they said, oh, yes, I remember seeing that boy when he was doing Rent. Sure, let him come to the final auditions. Let him come to the final auditions, the final callbacks. And we'll see how he goes. So thank God, because then I made sure that I warmed up and everything. And next time I walk on stage, I'm walking on stage and there's Bryan May, Roger Taylor, Ben Elton,
Elton's
Pippa Alien, the choreographer. There's a panel of 15 people sitting like this. So, go. And I sang for Jesus. I swear.
There you go.
And next thing you know, that's it. And it's been one of the most amazing experiences.
Man.
Not only the show itself has been the music and everything, but also the association with Queen, like with Bryan and Roger. They're very closely associated. Bryan more than Roger. Roger would come and do a lot of things, but Bryan would come to the show every week. And he'd come early to the show, and because he's Bryan May, he can't just go to a cafe, or he can't just sort of hang in a green room. There's no green room at the Dominion, so he'd come to my room. So, Mick, yeah. I said, yes, Bryan, come in. So I'd be getting ready for the show, and Bryan would come in and just sit in my room, doodling, and we'd just chat like,
Bro.
all right, I'm getting ready for the show, and he's such a sweet. We talk about everything under the sun, about old days, the moon, the universe, literally the moon and the universe, because he's an astrophysicist. And I thought he was always writing something on a pad, and I always thought that he was doodling, until I went over and did a sticky beak and actually looked at what he was doodling, and there were equations. There were all these physics equations. Like I didn't even recognize the symbols. They were crazy. And I said, Bryan, what are you doing there? And he says, oh, nothing. I'm just trying to create an equation that explains the expansion of the universe.
Okay, all right.
It's into some other stuff, man.
Yeah, it was a portrait as long as that.
Wow.
I don't think I said anything for about 10 minutes. Well, I just realized how my life is worthless and meaningless, and I need to go home and rethink my life.
I suppose when you've been a rock star for so long, you've done everything that can be done. You're like, well,
Right.
what can I do
What's
now?
next?
Let's figure out the universe.
I'm
That's
going to
next on the
explain
list.
the
Yeah.
universe.
Yeah, man. What's next?
Oh, man, Bryan's had a heart attack recently.
Oh no.
Yeah, a
Didn't
couple
he
of weeks
have
ago,
it?
yeah.
It was something like I read that he like injured himself.
He injured his
Surgery.
arse,
No,
basically.
he injured it.
I didn't want to say that.
I think he had an injury doing gardening in his house.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. But no, I think that the heart attack came later.
That was after
than
that. Yeah, it was after that. Yeah.
How old is he right now?
Brian's-
He's in his
Is he in his
70s?
early 70s?
Early
72.
70s.
Bryan
He's
May?
up there.
He's up there. He's so much energy though. He just doesn't stop. Like one of these things that why I just started to do all these so many collaborations was actually because of Bryan, because he posted this thing on Instagram saying, "Hey guys, come and jam with me," and he just started to play Hammer to Fall.
That's right. I saw that. Yeah.
But he just did it like was an invitation to anyone. So I went, all right, screw it. So I downloaded his Instagram video and I sang to him playing the guitar, and it's just with me voice. I put a piano track and me just doing hand claps as drums.
Yeah.
Jam with me, okay? Let's do this. Here we stand, here we fall. History won't care at all. Make God light the light. Lady Mercy won't be home tonight. You don't waste no time at all. Don't hear the bell that you answer for. They'll tell you as to us all. We're just waiting for the hammer to fall, yeah.
Next thing you know, I get my email, my message box are flooded with people saying, "Mig, let's do this again. Let's try this and let's create like a worldwide thing." It's blown up, and so it's funny how one thing can lead to something else.
Oh god,
So
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I saw that. I was like, man, that's really cool.
It was.
Because I've been cowering away from a certain cruise ship that has We Will Rock You on it, because I just think to myself, the last thing I want is to have to answer to Bryan May. Like, I'd get too nervous.
He's you know what? He's most forgiving and most encouraging and selfless, and just he will make you feel like you are the king of the world. He has that effect on people.
That's dope.
He really is. He's amazing. He's he's an idol.
Is there anybody that you've met in the industry that you don't like, or that's like straight a-holes?
Roger
man?
Taylor.
Like, you know, like
What an
you
asshole.
like. I ask, man, because like you've had. It seems like you've had such awesome encounters with like some of these like legends, and icons, and even if they're not legends or icons, they're just awesome people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I think that's great, man. That's a blessing.
Well, true. I mean, that's really wonderful. Like they say that you should never meet your idols because you get disappointed. And it's actually very rarely that I get disappointed. When I met Stephen Burke, I got very disappointed. But
Yeah, I did too.
But you got me on a bad day. All right.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
And, you know,
whatever. Anyway,
I can't be a genius all the time. I can't be the funniest guy in the room all the time. Yeah, right. Stop putting me on a pedestal. Don't put me on a pedestal. I've told you.
there was one incident that I felt like that did not go down well, and I'm still embarrassed about it. But I just think I caught her on a bad day.
And it's like that. They're human,
They're human, and it was
like that.
she was just kind of like I was. It was at a barbecue. And meeting Richie Sambora from
Bon Jovi. Amazing.
from Bon Jovi, like it's incredible. Like he's super sweet, super nice, super endearing. Just dude, what's up? And I said, hey man,
I'd love to meet that guy. I'd love to.
He's such a sweet guy. And I was a little, I had a little bit of a cold, so I was just trying to stay a little. I said, hey dude, oh man, I wish I could hug you right now, Richie Sambora, but I have a cold, so I'm just going to just say I was away from here. But yeah, it's really nice to meet you. He said, cool, man, cool. And his girlfriend or wife at the time, I think wife at the time. I'm not going to give names, but you can work it out who this person is. Anyway,
Okay.
she comes up to me and she's like, I've always thought she was the hottest thing ever, right? And she's so beautiful. And she says, oh, hi. And I said, hi, look, I'm just sorry, I just got a bit of a cold, so I'm going to stay here. She goes, I have children.
No.
That's
Wow.
I was
such a-
shot
what a
down in a
strange
blaze of glory.
Oh my
I felt this small, and I went.
Man.
I told my wife at the time. I said, "I want to go.
I'm
I
sorry.
want to go home. I don't want to play anymore. I want to go home."
This would be the perfect time to meet her again. Then you can get her back during a pandemic. You know, just be like,
Oh man,
get her. Just go and sneeze on her.
Yeah, it's just fine. But you know, she's great. She just loves her children, and it's evident and obvious. But so whatever, I don't judge. It's just it didn't make me feel really good.
Man, you've done so many cool characters. You did. You got to play Stacey Jacks on Broadway, right?
Yes. Yeah.
That's pretty fucking cool. Like, I mean, Stacey Jacks is such a cool character. How did you feel when you saw the movie of that and Tom Cruise was Stacey Jacks? We had Man Crushes the other week, and like mine was Tom Cruise.
Man.
So I can't imagine how you felt that Tom Cruise played the same.
Actually,
role.
yeah, you've got to answer that. Who's your man crush? You got Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Mine was mine's JT. Always
Don't say
JT.
man's. Don't
And I'm not going to tell you, Johnny.
I want
can-
him to guess, and he's never going to get it.
No, he can guess if you
guess
sing a
yours.
little bit or do an impression.
Oh, yeah, do the impression.
You want me to do the impression?
Yeah.
Hey, don't you worry, I've been lied to. I've been there many times before. Hey, don't you worry, I know where I stand.
Michael McDonald.
Yes, my man. Great job. My man crush. My man crush.
I was really hoping you were going to say Bob Dylan or something. I was like,
Not in love anymore. I keep forgetting things will never be the same again. Keep forgetting how you made them so clear. I keep forgetting, baby. Every time you
Bro, my day is made. He just
that
played
was
the keys
awesome.
and everything.
Oh,
man.
man.
My day is made.
Michael McDonald is the dude. He's
That's
amazing.
the dude, bro.
Yeah.
That is my man crush right there.
This is
Wow.
our running theme.
I love that guy.
I've
Loving on Michael
love him.
McDonald.
The thing is, I have so many man crushes that I'm going to sound really gay if I say that. Because there's so,
your girlfriend's down
because
in Miami.
there's-
Now is the time to experiment. Now is the
Well,
time.
and not that there's anything against that, but I'm just saying that there's so many guys that I just go, far out, man. So awesome. You're amazing. You're amazing. Tom Cruise was one of them. Tom Cruise is definitely one of them.
Yes, he's the man.
Now, this is the thing. When I found out that he was playing, because I was doing Stacey Jacks in Rock of Ages on the US tour, and then I found out I'm going on Broadway. But before that, we were touring Los Angeles, and that's when we found out that Tom Cruise was playing my character. Ah! So, the first day of rehearsals for the film, we were actually at the Pantages Theater in Hollywood doing Rock of Ages. And the director, Adam Shankman, took Tom Cruise to see our show with Katie Holmes. So, his first Stacey Jacks. Me. So, yeah. So I was so excited. I was like, what? And so freaked out too. But I remember basically there's a scene in the show where Stacey Jacks walks through the crowd and he's drunk and he just sort of falls over people, etc. Of course, I made a beeline for Tom Cruise. he had a seat vacant. He had a whole row vacant in front of him and around him because security body, etc. But I clocked him. I knew where he was, and basically I fell into his lap. And Katie Holmes collapsed into it. The producers at that point are screaming, like going, "What the hell is MiG doing? Oh my God, we're going to get sued. This is disaster." And I'm drunk, and I'm just like, I'm crawling, basically pawning all over Tom Cruise, like jumping on him, like, ugh! And looking at his face this close. I'm this close to his face. Oh shit, sorry.
That's what Tom Cruise said, yeah.
That was Tom falling
close.
over.
That's
I'm that close
perfect,
to his face. And then I look back and I go, that. And he's loving it. He's absolutely loving it.
Yeah.
After the show, he meets everyone backstage. Katie Holmes is so over it because I walked past Katie. I said, "How Katie?" And he's over there. I'm like, yeah, it was anyway. So I went over stage and I saw him, and I said, first thing I said was, "Oh man, it's just like looking in a mirror." But it really was. There he was, Jerry Maguire. That's Maverick right there. He was amazing.
Yeah,
he was really
That's
cool.
it, yeah.
Having
He's
said
been
that,
so iconic.
the question was sorry. It's a long answers to these questions. I'm so sorry.
That's okay,
No,
man.
man,
it's
we
good.
love
That's
it.
good.
But when I saw the film, I was a little disappointed because they completely changed the script. They completely changed the premise.
Yeah.
What worked well on stage was the fact that it was tongue-in-cheek, like it was self-reflexive, in that it was saying, "Yeah, this is just a stage show. Yeah, well, this is a playbill. You're a musical dude. You know."
Yeah.
All those references of it being the fact that also, you know, the different actors had to perform 4 or 5 different characters. It was kind of funny that, you know, that's how cheap we are. We have to use one actor to do 5 or 6 different roles. To the
Yeah.
point of like they're halfway through dressing out of one character and they're into another one. They go on stage half dressed.
Jesus Christ.
That's the kind of a fun thing about the show, and it was a really funny script. Worked well on stage. They tried to put the film. They had tried to make it more realistic, like, you know, it's set in Hollywood. So a lot of those jokes didn't work, and so they changed it and they changed the script. I don't know. It just didn't have the same buzz. I think it's a show that really lives on stage. It's one of those things that it doesn't relate well, doesn't translate well into the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But having
it
said that, I
was,
thought Tom Cruise
like-
was great. I thought the cast was great. Tom Cruise was
Oh,
great.
he's the highlight. He's the highlight of the movie.
he trained for
saying
6
that.
months. He trained for 6 months with singing lessons. That's him singing on the soundtrack.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
See, he does his own stunts, boys.
Right.
Told you, he's the man.
Dude, they strap him
I've been singing his praises for years.
they strap him
do
to a
everything.
plane. He says, "Yeah, I'll do it," and takes off. I'm like, who does that?
Yeah, it's crazy.
The answer is
Tom
no.
Cruise.
Who insures him? I always think that. Who's the insurance company? Who gets that phone call? Hi. Oh shit. What do you want to do? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to climb out of in Dubai. We're going to run
Burj Khalifa.
down the Burj Khalifa. And who is which
yeah.
stunt double? No. I'm going to do it. But yeah, Tom, no. I'm going to do it. It's like, how do you? Does he sign a waiver and saying if I die?
Dude,
no,
have you seen the
can't sue?
picture of him?
Like,
The picture of him sitting on top of the
mate,
spike.
it's
No.
insane.
Burj Khalifa.
No, I have not.
Yeah, there's an amazing picture of him. It's just taken from a helicopter.
Yeah,
Because what they did, they just dropped him off. They sat him right on the tip of the Burj Khalifa, and just took this picture of him with just like the city.
Wow. The thing also I love about Tom when I met him, again, how he was so he basically deflected everything upon, like he said, no, dude, this isn't about me. This is about you. I came to see you tonight. You killed it tonight, dude. If I do, he said to me, if I do the show half as good as you did it, then I would have succeeded. And he said, this is the hardest thing I've ever done. I've been doing singing lessons for 6 months, you know, and I'm trying to be this. It's hard. I'm trying to, you know, make this work. And he was just telling me, like, he's worried about the show, worried about the thing, and don't know what you do, but I have lots of respect. He was kept on just, I was like, saying, don't talk. Dude, show me the money. I mean, all that.
Yeah.
Jerry
the line.
Maguire, tell me more about it.
Do that.
All that. You know, you can't handle the truth. All these movies that you're in, you're the guy. You're that guy. He was just so sweet. So, by the way, I'm just chomping at the bit. Cannot wait for Top Gun 2. I'm just
Oh, man.
have
Yeah, man.
you
They finished
seen
it. They
the
finished the film, they did
trailers?
everything. I saw
Oh my God!
It's going to be immense. That's a movie that has to. There's a lot of stuff that comes out which are cool to watch on TV, but that has to be a full-on
Yeah.
movie.
That's going to be an
Theater.
IMAX 3D, sit in the center, leave
All
me
of that.
alone. I'm going to be immersed in that film forever.
Can we
Right.
get tickets to the premiere? You and your best mate. Just
Tom.
don't tell him. You know, Grant's not allowed to be there because he might touch him or something. But
Yeah. I'll send him a message, see what happens. But no, I've not met Tom
I don't know what would
since.
happen.
I've not spoken to him. I have no way of contacting Tom, I'm afraid. But we had our moment, and it was beautiful.
I'm eternally jealous of you.
so, what have you got planned for the future then, Mick? When the zombie apocalypse finishes, like I've been given a contract apparently starting the end of July, the 1st of August. But I think that's just more a placeholder just to keep musicians in.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing. Like, you guys going back on the ships?
At the
Me
minute,
and Steve are planning on it. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm not.
Yeah, he's not.
You're
he's done.
not, Johnny? You're done?
I'm done, brother. I'm going back to visit, but nah, working? Hell nah.
Although he'll come back and visit, and he'll come in the bar and have a few drinks. He'll be like, "Yeah, I could do this again for a bit."
Hell yeah.
He might
Well-
actually play more saxophone if he's a guest.
I actually will. Like I plan on bringing my sax as a guest, and then just like playing. I'll play every night, to be honest. You know.
We always jam with Stephen and Grant. Even though I went to, we were on the overseas for my brother's birthday, and initially
That was such a good time.
I was supposed to be a guest entertainer on that week, but then it didn't work out. But then Michael Falzon invited me as his guest because he was performing.
Michael.
So I got a chance to go anyway.
Right.
But I wasn't supposed to be performing that week. But I performed more on that week than I ever for free because of these two
Every night in the
guys.
pub,
Every night we were jamming at the bar, the piano bar, or the Irish pub. When you go and get up and sing with the performer at the pub, you're normally about 4 or 5 drinks in, so it's best not to record those things. You think, I think I sound amazing, and I listen to those back and go. And it's the point that people are just dying to just perform. Like when you're an artist, you're creative. That's what you live for. It's what you do, and if you haven't got an outlet, that you go nuts. So you know, it's wonderful that these things are happening, and I really think that it's going to even continue even after the isolation, after the lockdown. It'll continue. But to be honest, I really can't wait to do another live gig. I'm
Right? Yeah.
Listen, the crowd, man. It's nothing like having an audience, man.
Oh, and this
That
Zoom
vibe.
thing's fine and everything like that, but I need to get off this chair and away from the computer for a
Oh,
while.
man, definitely.
Yeah, man.
Well, how do you think that's going to happen? What do you think?
For me personally, I don't know. We have actually a gig still. My first gig out is actually playing in Columbus, Ohio, with an orchestra, the Ohio Symphony. We're doing the music of Queen. It's all Queen music for the night with symphonic arrangements of Queen. We're like 5-piece rock band and 60-piece orchestra.
60
That was supposed 60. We're supposed to actually we're supposed to be in Denver. I was in Denver, Colorado, performing with the Colorado Symphony. Doing this, we were at sound check when the governor of Colorado went, we're closing down. So that was March 20. Can't remember now. But so we were from sound check to the airport. We didn't do the gig. It's canceled. But that's also been postponed. But this gig is supposed to be in June, I think, this weekend. But they've postponed it for July. So that's my first gig. We'll see what happens, if it's still open or not. But that would be my first gig. Don't know how people would come to the show, whether they're still scared at that point. I don't know.
I like that. Just easing back into it. Yeah.
Who knows, man?
With the 65-piece band.
Yeah.
Fucking big, man.
You know, we're just gonna start off, nice and small.
Yeah.
How would they physically do that on stage? Actually, how legally? I don't know what the restrictions are in the States, but would they have to have like?
I think everyone's in their own isolation booth. I think probably everyone's gonna be wrapped in plastic.
Just put some holes in the mask for the clarinet players. And
Did you see the Flaming Lips? Flaming Lips did a gig this week. I was telling Grant, and they literally
with the bubbles.
they put themselves inside bubbles on stage. So each one of them is inside a bubble, and every audience member is inside their own little ball, like hamsters. It's
It reminded
hysterical.
me of
That's funny.
Spinal Tap.
It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. It must have sounded shit in there, but it's a brilliant idea.
Hey, it's worth a shot, man.
Oh man, definitely.
I honestly think that when it comes to kind of starting things back up, I just watched that Dave Chappelle 846 it's just Dave Chappelle just kind of using his voice during this whole protesting and everything like that. It gets serious, but it's also Dave Chappelle, so like he might say something that like he's dead serious, but it's funny. Like you can't help but laugh, But what I love about watching it is that from the start, it's outdoors, and like the camera just kind of shows like a very small audience walking in. They spray paint the ground and they set, 2 chairs within like this box that they spray painted. And then you also see like audience members getting like the temperature check. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm just looking at all of this, and then like they're sitting in the audience with their mask on or, whatever. And I'm like, okay, I can see that happening, with like just live events. Mm-hmm. Like the band members are getting temperature checked. Your audience members are getting temperature. It's going to be a long process just trying to get a seat and trying to get the show started.
Yeah, well, I think it's going to be an expensive process to do anything.
That too.
Because not only, first of all, do we have audience members that are willing to take the risk of congregating, they need to have like a doctor on site as well, and to have administer the tests. I mean, the guidelines for actually starting film projects, I've just read that there has to be a doctor on site. Wow. Or everyone has to have a test, and everyone has to have daily thermometer checks, and there are certain gloves and all that kind of like all this equipment that has to be done before you even talk about the film budget. And of course, then you can only film so. It's hard. It's hard until this goes through. But I am such an eternal optimist, and maybe that's my downfall. That's my shortcoming. But I really believe that this will pass, and that we will just laugh at this one day and go, "Wow!" I mean, we got through the Spanish flu, which was a billion times worse than this. We got through World War II. We got through World War One. They got through Richard Nixon. We'll see what happens with this one, but we'll see. We may not survive. I don't know.
Nearly through Donald Trump. Nearly through.
We may not survive this one, but who cares? Whatever. We'll all go down together. So, in the meantime, I really think that we just have to keep our head above water and keep treading water, and do this. What we're doing, like connecting this way. It's so vital. Like, I mean, I'm having a great time just talking to you guys. I feel, even though. Seriously, I feel like completely.
Well, it's great. Yeah, it's literally just become like the highlight of the week. It's like when are we recording an episode again? Or like, who are we gonna get this week?
This is legit the crew bar just all over again. But like the virtual one.
The last time I was in the crew bar, I had to go to hospital.
Would you like to share?
No.
He said no.
It was one hell of a cruise.
Sound like you guys had a good time.
I was there with my parents. My parents were there, so
I remember doing the shows with you, and you pointed out your dad in the front row.
Yeah. So it was an amazing time. All I say is thank God when we had that holiday, because you never know when you're going to have a holiday again. Yeah. So you think about, I spent so much money eating more. Yeah, but really? It's just money. It's just like if you can do it, throw it away. Because I think now about the time that I spent with my parents, and I live so far away from them. Any time that we have that time, it's precious. And that was an amazing cruise. You guys made them feel really special too, so I really appreciate it.
Oh, they're amazing. I think you've got to try and grab everything, because it's easy to put stuff off. Yeah. And it's easy to be scared about stuff. And like I said, money's only money. There's so many people must pass away with hundreds of thousands, millions in the bank. And for what? You've just amassed a fortune. For what? It's just paper at the end of the day.
You can't take it with you when you die,
Can't take it with you, exactly.
You could get buried with it, I guess.
You could,
but
that's
the Egyptians go for
pointless.
that,
Then I would be a grave digger and steal that money from your grave. That would be just really sad.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Sorry. It ain't any good to you. So
that'll be the day my hands get dirty. Like, Johnny, where were you? Oh, I was digging some holes. I'm about to go take a shower, guys. I'll be right back.
Probably. So Mig, you got a So I got my phone here with just like this list of all these all these things that you've done, and I'm just thinking, and we've talked about a few of them, but it's like, do you have a favorite one that, let's say I take away the We Will Rock You, the rock,
Okay.
like the actual like largest like high end production things that you've done. Do you have like a off Broadway, so to speak, sort of show that or role that you've played that is like a favorite one for you?
Actually, there is a show which seems a little bizarre. Most of the shows that I do are sort of like, rock shows, and it's all like, Rock of Ages or We Will Rock You or Rockstar, anything with rock in it. But
Queen.
There was a show that I did, which was actually, for me, artistically, it was one of the most beautiful things, and I would love to do it again, because we only got the chance to perform for a month, and that was it. It was a show called The Bridges of Madison County. Jason Robert Brown wrote this musical. I mean, the music is sublime, and it's not something that I get the chance to do very often. It's just, it's a bit out of my expertise. But having the opportunity to do that, I performed it in the Philippines, Manila, opposite Joanna Ampil, who was the big Filipino star there, and some of the cream of Filipino theater performers there. And I got to say, it was just the music was just so amazing, and I loved the show so much. And just when you feel like, oh, I think I'm getting this, I got it, and it's done. And I was like, damn. So I would love to do that one again. One thing I'm actually excited about as well is I'm trying to work as a film producer in one way. I'm trying to get this project up and running. It's speaking of the Philippines. It's a movie called Cebu. It's based on a book written by a guy called Peter Bacho, and I'm the music supervisor composer on this thing, and I've been taken on board as or associate producer as well of this thing, and we're doing these Zoom readings of the screenplay, which has been really interesting, trying to create some kind of narrative and some kind of trailer that we can then present to prospective investors. And that's been something that's really like fascinating to me, and I've sort of taken that on, and hopefully this comes to fruition. I've already wrote the theme song, sang the theme song. And yeah, it's exciting stuff. So we'll see what that hopefully.
You mentioned something to me before that the guys don't know about. I can't let you go before you embellish on Charlie Manson.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh,
I got way too excited about Charles Manson.
I'm very intrigued.
Yeah, well, this is again. This is very. I mean, I'm sort of juggling all these projects all at the same time, which I love. At the same time, it's a bit crazy. My schedule is, time's totally irrelevant. But yeah, it's a musical. It's been written by the book's been written by a lady, Nicole, in the UK. The music's been written by Jimmy here in New York. But it's called Helter Skelter, and it is about that whole Manson period cult, and they've got me touted to play Charles Manson. So yeah, so
I knew
at the moment we're doing actually a Zoom reading of the new script, I think next month in July. But the music that I've heard has been really great. Like Jimmy's really captured the essence of that psychedelic period, and it's a little bizarre. But he's really got the era down, and it's cool, man. I was excited when you hear about projects and you go, yeah, whatever, okay, all right, show it to me. When they gave me the music of this, I was like, wow, I like this, so yes, playing Charles Manson. We'll see. Hopefully. It gets to fruition. We'll see. I mean, it's a macabre subject, a morbid subject, but I really believe that it's to say that it didn't happen or it doesn't exist is shooting ourselves in the foot, because we have to realize that these people exist and this thing happened and it's still happening now.
I mean, Tarantino's film recently as well. I mean, that's touched back into it, and that's got back in fashion in inverted commas. But like people who didn't know about the Manson killings have seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I mean, obviously, I won't mention the film in case you haven't seen it and you don't know what happens at the end, but it does change what actually happened. But shocked me.
I love that movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I thought it was
so good.
The funniest. I thought it was brilliant. A lot of people didn't get it. And I was like, how can you not get this?
Yeah.
Well,
it's genius.
you know
Dude,
why?
me and Steve saw it in Alaska together.
Yeah, we did.
We freaked out.
Yeah.
But you know why? It's because like, you know, Tarantino, man, like he takes these like, you know, these like long steps, and then when you finally get to the end, it's like, whoa, what just happened?
It just
And you
goes
start
like
going
this, escalates.
Yeah,
But
you know?
I love that whole thing of like the scene is a one-take scene in the car, and conversation goes from the benign to the mundane to the ridiculous in short. But that's life. I mean, that's rather than just editing. Well, he's just let's just film what happens in a car or a conversation. I love that
It seems that Australians are very good at playing Charles Manson.
because Damon Harriman
Damon
Yeah.
Harriman in a Tarantino movie with Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio and Margot Robbie. I mean,
another one of ours.
but what a film credit! I just
Love that
fell
one.
out of my seat. Yeah. Okay. No, I did Grease with Danny Minogue.
Yeah, she must have been Sandy.
No,
Oh, really? Rizzo then?
she was Rizzo.
I
She
guess
wanted
it's
to
one
be
and two.
Rizzo.
Home and Away. I remember when she turned up on that.
Same with Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie was in Home and Away too. Yes, she was.
Yeah, she was a home and away girl.
Yeah, I remember.
So was Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
He wasn't a girl. He was a guy.
Right, okay.
Yeah, he was in it, you know.
He could be anybody.
He could.
So wasn't
funny,
Chris
like,
Hemsworth?
yeah.
Wasn't Chris Hemsworth in Home
Chris
and Away? Or was it
Hemsworth,
Neighbours?
I think he was
Well,
Neighbours.
here's the thing.
Neighbours.
It seems like so the two big things in Australia, you've got Home and Away and Neighbours, and it seems like if you were in Home and Away, you have more of a chance of branching out from Australia. Because I think of Neighbours stars, and the biggest one I can,
Kylie
Minogue, obviously,
Jason Donovan.
But I was trying to think of other ones. I'm like, well, there was Delta Goodrum. She's still a big-ish deal in Australia. She's
there
a
was
voice judge.
Natalie Imbruglia. Natalie Imbruglia.
You
Natalie
forget also,
Imbruglia,
Guy Pearce. Remember that guy?
Oh
Guy
yeah,
Pearce.
that's
Yeah,
right.
he's done a couple of movies.
Yeah. A couple of small,
couple.
low budget.
Yeah, some a bunch of things. Yeah, him has not really done anything with his life, no. I actually took over from Guy Pearce once. He was playing Danny Zuko in Grease. This is the David Atkins version way back in the early 90s. And he left the show to do this film called Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
Something
And-
no one's ever heard of that one. Yeah.
And so I got cast to take over from Guy Pearce, and I thought, why is Guy leaving this show? This is Grease, man. He's making such a big mistake.
Oh man, I am I think the only thing I've done that involved Guy Pearce, I played guitar for this TV special called Love Your Sister.
Did you film it in
Love Your
Tasmania?
Sister. Yeah, it was kind of like a documentary about this guy that broke the Guinness World Record for unicycling. He unicycled around the entire nation of Australia to raise money for breast cancer research.
Wow.
Oh, well, that's amazing.
Because,
That's
Because
amazing.
his sister had and Guy Pearce like narrated and did the intro for it.
Right.
And they had me go and like play guitar for it. But I remember like I met him at like a screening. I was like, holy shit, Guy fucking Pearce. But,
Sweet guy. Really sweet guy.
yeah, he's a lovely dude.
Yeah.
Lovely dude.
And one of those guys that he does all these Hollywood films, yet he refuses to live in Hollywood. He lives in Melbourne.
I can respect that.
Yeah, he says, no, if you want me, I'll come over for some auditions and readings, but I don't want to live there. I want to live right in Melbourne.
Mig, is there anything else that you're doing you'd like to plug before we turn the little blinking red light off?
Well, I'm going to be doing a collaboration with someone in particular soon. So
I think both of us.
Yeah, we all are. We all are. So, yes.
Yeah.
So
I'm not going to point. I don't know where I am.
I'm not idea what's happening.
Mig, I'm on the
Point.
top right for you. So if you point to the top right, you're right.
We're doing the Brady
No,
Bunch.
the other way.
Yeah.
So
See, there you go.
check out for that collaboration video. That's going to be fun. Apart from that, I just don't know, man. I'm free falling right now, but it's a parachute, so I'm sure we'll land gently enough. but I don't know where we're gonna be. So at the moment, I'm just trying to keep myself active and trying to keep myself going, trying to be creative and writing a lot, working on that film project, Cebu, working on Helter Skelter, working on my own original music as well, and hopefully I get a chance to do some live stuff soon.
Man, it's good to see people keeping busy during this time when some people are shutting down. So it's good to have inspiration around you to keep busy, because it's easy to just shut down. And I think we're all fighting against that.
I'm not immune to that. There are some days I just go, I just don't want to anymore. Today, like there are some days I just go, I just want to stop.
Yeah,
it's hard. This is hard when you have to log in, when you have to get online, organize things, sit in front of a computer and try to generate stuff that, it's not about the money, but it's just like, just when this is going to stop, or when can we travel again? I love traveling. I miss that. I miss what we were doing,
Yeah.
We'll gladly have you back,
Yeah. Well, I'll come back. This is fun.
It's good. Yeah.
This is nice. Bones, Twigs, Wigs, and MiGs. I mean,
Man,
the great thing is we don't have to think of a title
I'll be
for this
ringing you every
episode.
single Tuesday and Saturday.
I'm telling you.
You were made to co-host this show.
Well, give me a call anytime, guys. I'm very happy to join with you guys. It's been awesome. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed watching or listening to us on Apple or Spotify or YouTube. If you're on YouTube, you can see how tired I am there with my eyes.
That's why you've got a high definition camera. That's what happens when you use your Sony.
No, I do regret this sometimes. I should just do this for the entire thing. And then then it's fine. I look 10 years younger. Maybe I'm only 10 years older than Johnny.
You're my new man. You're my new man crush, Stephen Burke. Sorry.
Thank you, Daddy. Me and Tom Cruise are there at the top. That's what I've always wanted. So I've got to finish it there. I can't get any better than that. So thank you once again, Grant from Australia. Nice and sunny there. Johnny down in Washington, DC.
Yeah, there you go.
MiG Ayesa, thank you so much for joining us, man.
Thank you, guys. It's been a pleasure. All love and peace from New York City.
Good stuff, man.
Peace, guys.